All right. I think we should be good. Let's see. I think. Hello, everyone. Hello. All right. At 5 o'clock, we are going to call Goji Center. It's about 15 minutes. So, we got 15 minutes where it's just me. I'm letting Goji Center get all this stuff ready. But how's everybody doing? Also, big heads up. Some of you have seen the previous Goji Center interview. Not everybody knows this. Goji Center has a voice actor. And probably no butthole. That guy, that is Steve. He's the voice actor. He's the guy who does the voice. The guy actually who runs Goji Center, who's behind it, who writes the scripts and all that, that is Joe. That is who we're calling. So anyone's like, oh, he sounds different. Yes, because it is a different person. So, just as a heads up. But yeah, I am Steve. I gotta go watch that. I'm very excited to watch that. I think I'm gonna be watching that this weekend. So, but it's gonna be a chill live stream. Hello, wow, alright, a whole bunch of people here. For those just joining, again, we're gonna call Joe at 5 in about 13 minutes. Just letting him get everything ready. We're gonna be discussing, of course, the hybrid stuff. Maybe upcoming videos. Godzilla X Kong, Legacy of Monsters, Jurassic World, all that good stuff. You guys can ask away about Hank 2.0, Endom 2.0, Vex, all that good stuff. And yeah, good stuff like that. Let's see. Arson saying yes, this was made by Uga. Let me pull up his not Uga, sorry, this is made by Bizarrico. Uga made the first live stream. Let me pull up Bizarrico's Instagram. You all can go give him a follow. Bizarre makes phenomenal art. Go check him out. You guys actually picked him on the team. He made some super cool art. And I think it was this one when I'm like, should I just hire him, guys? And it's absolutely outstanding. Yes, and this was his first piece, his first thumbnail he made, amazing. And this second Green Chart with the 2, who drew the desktop background. Yep, that is Bizarrico, who I just showed off. He is a phenomenal artist. Definitely go check him out. Give him a follow. He is one of the best artists in the community, I'd say. Granted, I'm biased to all my artists. All of my artists are the best in the community. So, but yeah, how's everybody doing? Let me first get that way. How's everybody doing? What are you guys excited to hear us discuss? Hybrids, Jurassic World. I'm excited to cover what we hope to see in Legacy of Monsters. For me, if we can get Camazotz, I'm cool. If we can get some reference to the Kong anime, maybe the giant hawk, the killer chameleons in CG would be cool, or the siren jaws. Power Boy with the 2. What kaiju could beat Godzilla Earth? There are a couple. I would say end of the series kaiju number 8, despite the size difference. Of course, Void Ghidorah, minus when he got hit with the lol, follow our rules of realism. I think it's Magita is not the 500-meter tall one. He's pretty strong. I'm sure there's some some DC and Marvel kaiju that could throw them around. So a lot of people are saying Godzilla's. He asked kaiju, not Godzilla's. Yeah, there's quite a few Godzilla's gonna be Godzilla Earth. I'd say Godzilla and Hell could beat him. Mid, high diff. Marvel Godzilla relatively low, if any. If you count DC Godzilla as its own separate thing connected to DC, then he'd probably be able to beat him up pretty easily. But yeah, again, to those who are just joining, we will call Goji Center in about 10 minutes, letting him just get everything ready. Marvel versus DC. That one's interesting because here's the thing: Marvel Godzilla is getting new stuff soon. I think like right around the corner, he's getting a new comic. And if he's being compared to modern 616 Marvel characters, then I don't know. It really just comes down to who's stronger: current DC, like the top tiers of current DC, or the top tiers of current Marvel. Which the whole can of worms I'm not even gonna try and get into. Um. So, but yeah. Do you like? Yeah, I like them both. Prime Minister Rex and I don't know how to say Goji Center's one. I'll ask him when we call him. I'm just gonna call it Dragon. So, when are we discussing bears? Bears are pretty cool. I like bears. They're funny. They're silly. Really dangerous. But they're funny. So, Super Magic Domain. I literally haven't seen anything of Super Magic Domain. I've heard about it. At this point, it's kind of like a phantom in the community. Chilling out the 5. Who wins, me or Goji Center in a fight? Probably Goji Center. If we're talking about Joe, because most of the team, if we're talking like Steve or Joe, they are both. I'm technically a fully grown adult. I'm 18, but I'm still a teenager. Well, they are actual, adults. So yeah, just given just sheer, they're yeah, yeah. I'm not no. But does Joe lift? Yeah. So the reason that's at 5 is because he told me earlier he's usually at the gym between 1 to 5 depending on the day. So are you hungry? No. I had lunch earlier. We're chilling. You're young. Yeah, a lot of people usually think I'm a lot older than I am. Out of curiosity, how old did you guys think I was? I've gotten a lot of people thinking I was like 20, 24, 25, stuff like that. Nope. I am freshly graduated. 23, 20s, 30. All right, bro. So, I'm getting a lot of 23s. All right. That's reasonable. Why is that? Do I just sound 23? I don't really feel like there's a way to sound 23. I feel like between 18 to like your 20, like mid 20s, you kind of just sound the same. Goji got avatar form or Goji centers? Easily me. I'm gonna keep it a buck with you. If we get into our characters, look, Dragon here, very cool. These sizes are not accurate at all, though. This guy, I imagine, is around the same size as Primatus, so like 25, maybe pushing 30 feet tall. Goji guy's 500 meters tall. Depending how many subs we have, I think we're at 238,000 now, almost. That he's that many tons, not close. Goji guy steps on him. Goji guy literally steps on him and doesn't even notice. I'm gonna keep it a buck with you. Cocaine versus meth gator? That'd be funny. Does Gypsy Transcender be Scar King? 100%, 100%. How tall? 500 meters. 500. All right. About 5 minutes till I call him. Let me go ahead and ping him real quick. All right. More vids about Vex? Yes. That's something we're going to discuss here. So there will be more videos about Vex, 100%. Class 124, yep. Yep. What if I nuke the Baltic Sea? I don't really think there's a nuke large enough to get all of it. So I'm doing good. Jade Horizon, how about you, man? Roblox content on KU after again if Godzilla comes back. No, don't plan on it. Ooh, voice crack. Just Green Chart at the 5. What was your favorite hybrid that I've made pre-Hank? Oh, the originals. Are we counting Godzilla ones? Are we counting the Godzilla ones? Because I really like those ones. I assume not. I assume we're talking about regular. Endozenosaurus is super cool. And Spinonotosaurus. I think those two. I love Spinonotosaurus' design in Endozeno. Those two are awesome. Endozeno is literally just everybody was like, it was so funny. Everyone's like, Indominus already has Therizinosaurus DNA. It's like, yeah, it also had Raptor DNA. You saw what happened when we added more Raptor? Endoraptor. I was like, what are people talking about? You can have another kaiju. Not another kaiju, another hybrid once you add more of the same DNA. Do you transcend Bony Luck? I don't know if I got an answer to that. It really depend. So, how's Nezu? To those who are new and Goji Center fans, firstly, welcome. Please subscribe. If you guys don't know, Nezu is if you watch my what ifs, you'll see in the credits co-producer Nezu. Nezu is my crested gecko. She is doing good. She's doing good. She's hanging out in her coconut right now. What is Vex doing? Probably like blowing bubbles or something. I don't know. Or Dangerfield's monkey versus sorry, okay, he corrected the yeah. I messaged Goji. I'm like, yeah, it'll be ready in 5. He just said T, like TEA. I'm like, what? He said replace with Y. Can Hank 2.0 beat Vex? That'll be the first question. I guess we can talk with Goji Center about that. I don't know. That'd be a fun thing to discuss. It really depends on the fight, like where it's taking place. If it's just happening in the ocean, like they run into each other, I'm gonna say Vex just because she's entirely an actual aquatic hybrid, while Hank is more amphibious. If even he's really adapted to the water, but he's not. He's not a fish. But if it's Vex pulling up to his area, then I don't really know if I think Vex would. She'd probably die from the poison on just a sheer amount, since it'd be all around her 24/7, right? She'd be sucking it in, and it'd be around her and on her, plus the hallucinogenics. So it'd be really difficult for her to get around. Hank 9.0, that's coming 2042. Mark your calendars. 2 minutes, chat. 2 minutes. So I feel like I need music, but if I don't want to have like music in the background, have it quiet, because that would make Joe quiet as well. Could Thrag beat? Given how quickly we're getting to kaiju territory with Dragon here, I'd say so. At that point, Hank's gonna be like out of reversal. What abilities? I haven't really thought about that. I mean, of course, Atomic Breath, as you can see. I'd probably say Pulse or an Atomic Punch, kind of like Gemstone. Hank's maybe beat Springtrap? Probably. I think it'd just be too much for Springtrap to handle. Hank figure went. Chat, making figures take a long time. The guy that's supposed to print it, he's working on something else right now, so I just kind of have to. I'm also bummed. I'm not mad at him or anything. I was a little frustrated. He just kind of was like, hey, yeah, like we talked about like making this figure, and then it's like out of nowhere, it's like, hey, I can't make it. I'm like, oh, okay. At least for a while. So it's gonna be a little while, but that's good though. That's good, because that means Endom 2.0 and the Hank figure should come out relatively the same time. So that should be fun. Maybe we can set something up where like the Endom comes with like a Hank arm accessory. It is almost 5 o'clock. 8 seconds. All right. But are you a cat or dog person? Final question before we call Goji Center. I'm more of a dog person. I still love cats though. Cats are awesome. All right, I'm gonna call Goji Center again. Everybody, remember, he's not gonna sound like his voice actor, because they are 2 different people. The voice actor is Steve, and probably no butthole. That's that guy. This is Joe, the actual minds behind Goji Center. Let me give him a call. Turn his volume up. Open. That's the same volume. All right, calling him. Hi, Steve. Hello. Hello.
Hey, what's up?
Howdy. All right, everybody.
This
This is
Shepard
Joe.
left.
They're all spamming I am Steve because I said it earlier. So yeah,
Oh
what's up,
shoot!
man?
Let me
Say
pull
howdy
up
to the
real
stream.
quick. What's going on, everyone? Happy to be here.
Mm-hmm.
Let me see. Who
Yeah,
you got? I'm
everyone's
gonna look
just
it up on the
spamming.
YouTubes.
So
All right, I'm pulling up the comments so I can like look.
yeah, go
All
for it, go
right,
for it.
cool.
Yeah, it's
All
going
right, I'm
by
all
pretty quick
set
right
up.
now. Alrighty, how you been, man? It's been a second.
Pretty cool. So hybrid war today. Yeah, man. Yeah, it's been a while. Been busy. I mean, I'm sure you've been busy. I've been busy. We've been
Mm-hmm.
busy. Whole bunch of stuff going on. So what are we talking about today?
Just of course, hybrid stuff, cause no duh. Um, for some Legacy of Monster stuff you want to see in that. Jurassic World, we hope to see in that. And I don't know, I'm kind of split on talking about GXK3. We can talk about what we want to see. I don't want to like leak anything for anybody though. I've heard some apparent
Okay.
leaks, but I don't really know too much is going on in it. But
Yeah, I've heard a few things.
Mhm.
But I guess we could just go ahead and start with GXK, get that out of the way.
Yeah, all right, so you
So
start.
I think that offline we talked about like what that we're going to talk about what we want to see
Mhm.
in GXK. Obviously, I think I am speaking for most people that we want to see Godzilla be the main protagonist, and I'm
Oh, 100%.
probably like 75% sure that's going to be the case this time.
Mm.
So I'm feeling cautiously optimistic for that, especially by some of the comments from like Transporteur. He said that he did want to more or less focus on Godzilla more.
Yeah.
Um, and you know what's cool though? In GXK, this past movie, I think that although some people didn't really like it too much, I mean, I was one that liked it a lot to see the very few clips of Godzilla just being an absolute badass,
Yeah.
you know. So if we can get more of that
Still mad about Tiamat
throughout
though.
the film,
Still mad about the Tiamat
okay,
death.
yeah, for sure, for sure. Yeah, I
That
mean,
was
hey, she may come back. That's another thing. It's not a
yeah.
spoiler.
Yeah.
Um,
That's
it's not a spoiler. If you read the comics, the new ones that were released technically, um,
yeah, it's
yeah, there's potentially a
she's
return
technically
of
alive.
Tiamat.
Yeah, because if she's not decaying at
Technically,
all, that would imply, there's some brain activity fighting off any, sort of decomposition. So, does that mean we're going to see her, throwing hands Godzilla anytime soon? Probably not. But I hope they do something with Lehamu.
no,
Maybe a reference her of some sort. One thing I want to see is
probably,
talking about stuff
yeah,
they've set up previously. Because I feel like each film just kind of, I think it was Dangerville brought up a really good point. No, it was one other guy who made a video like why he doesn't like the Monsterverse, and I was kind of like I'm like oh not one of these again, but he actually had a lot of good points. One of them being each movie changes so drastically. Like if you just watched 2019, nobody would have guessed two movies from then. You would have an underground giant ape army with Hollow Earth battle scenes, and like the Arctic takes in this power of the sun. Like it's just so drastic. Let me read real quick. To people of donut. Somebody said, "Hey, will other well, I think he meant to say either. Will either of you ever try to judge or improve slash change, uh, and or make hybrids based on fan hybrids that pay you for cover?" Okay, I think he's asking like I don't think I'm ever gonna. I mean, yeah, I don't think I'm gonna like. I'd feel bad if someone paid me to cover their hybrid. That'd be kind of weird. I think that takes away from the fun of the hybrid stuff. You get to cover your own thing. Um, so I personally
yeah.
I wouldn't do that now.
Well, anytime somebody making kaiju borders, it's your own kaiju for. I mean, I don't know. I feel like that kind of sets a precedent, also. Like, you know, um, because then you're gonna get like swamped with a whole bunch of stuff, and then you also have to think about the creators
Yeah,
as well. For example, like you, for instance, like you have your own schedule of things to do, and then you know unless you like hire people to do it for you, then it's like pretty much impossible for you to judge or improve like 20 different hybrids that are coming at you every single
yeah,
week. You know what I mean? You're gonna have like this huge backlog, and it's just really unrealistic. As much as I'd love to be able to do such things, maybe at a smaller scale in the future, but that's just it's really hard, to do that. That's why we have things like hybrid war. You
Yeah.
learn from the videos that you see online, and then you get a shot at uploading your hybrid, and if things go well, then you get featured. You know what I mean?
Yeah. Yeah. It's I've had some people reach out offering pay to like me and my art team, but to anybody who, like is thinking about doing that, whether you have any art skill or not, that doesn't matter, you know? This is truly just some people are kind of taking the hybrid war a little bit too seriously. This is just entirely to like, educate yourself about, animals, how different animals biology work. And just, figuring out how to mix animals in a semi-realistic way. People who are taking it fully realistically, you've completely kind of missed. I mean, if you want to go full realism, Indom 2.0 couldn't exist, given it's referencing off of
Mhm.
Indominus Rex. Hank, any hybrid just wouldn't work. There'd be so many small things, it just wouldn't. So it's just truly just about like making your own thing, being creative. And while like I know some people like aren't too confident about making their own hybrid, that you just gotta get around that, and put it out there and let people see it. Because I promise you, no matter like what, if you think it's bad, people will still like it regardless. People like seeing dinosaurs, and when you make it your own custom one, regardless if it can thrive in an ecosystem, people are still gonna enjoy it regardless. So
Yeah, so here's the thing I want to add to what you just said.
mm,
Like you mentioned that Indom 2.0 wouldn't really be real. Hank wouldn't really be real.
yeah,
You're right. Right now, during the like, we've advanced so much as a civilization that we've broken a few we've had a few breakthroughs already with genetics and technology and things like that, of that matter. However, thing like creating a hybrid like the Indom 2.0 right now with the technology and understanding of genetics that we have is going to be really difficult, if not impossible, right
yeah,
now. I'm not saying it's going to be impossible in the future, like say 200 years from now, but it's just a bunch of hurdles that you have to go through. Like for example, mixing genes from a cephalopod with a tetrapod.
yeah,
That's really hard. Like with a four-legged creature with an animal that has like tentacles and it's an invertebrate. Like there's a whole bunch of things you have to go through, and
yeah,
to splice such things is really difficult. I'm not saying it's impossible like ever, but there are a
yeah,
lot of things that people thought back then that were impossible that are possible now, right?
yeah,
So this whole hybrid thing is under the assumption that we've passed those genetic hurdles, and
yeah,
we're able to select certain genomes and customize a creature. So beyond that, then we can kind of speculate like, oh, will this hybrid work? Will this is this congruent? Will these instincts work? You know what I mean?
yeah,
So it's kind of taking a very careful approach, assuming that we went beyond those genetic hurdles, if that makes sense.
yeah. I can't wait for 200 years from
Yeah.
now. We're long gone. There's gonna be some comment if YouTube's still around on one of the videos. Yeah, this obviously wouldn't work, buddy. This could be so advanced at that point. That'd be hilarious. Um, so
Hmm.
one thing somebody brought up earlier that I definitely wanted to hear your thoughts on. You of course know Vex, right? The silly water hybrid. Somebody brought up, and I've
Yes.
answered this many times. I want to hear your thoughts. Hank 2.0 versus Vex. My thoughts is if it's in the open ocean, they just run into each other. Vex. She's an actual fish, while Hank he's very adept in the water, but he's not, he can't just be there indefinitely. And if it's like in the open
Yeah.
ocean, Vex would win. She's an actual fish. She would pretty easily come down. If it's her going to him, like, and he's like been in the area for a long, long time, then while she's resilient to poisons, that sheer amount in the water, like being around her and inside of her all at once, plus hallucinogenics, I'd think she just kind of trip out and just die.
Mhm.
But I want to hear your thoughts. What do you think?
Okay, so Hank's a really interesting case because you have the matter of Hank expelling certain amount of toxins, right? The way we designed him, sorry. That way was for him to basically be like some sort of mobile pollutant per
Yeah,
se, in a body of stagnant water.
biological
Um,
warfare. Yeah,
yeah, so like let's say they're both in a lake, for instance, and it's not like that big. Um, and Hank has been around for a while. Yeah, over time that water is going to become a lot more
yeah,
difficult to thrive in, right? Yeah, Vex would probably have issues. there.
Yeah.
In the open ocean, nowhere near.
Yeah.
It'll be like it'll basically have no effect. Yeah, because you have water currents and everything. So let's say there were probably like a few thousand hanks just swimming around in a certain area for a long time.
Yeah.
And yeah,
Then you have an
that water
argument.
will be contaminated, and then yeah, yeah. So it's yeah, Vex I think would win in the open ocean.
Mm.
It's an animal that's used to open spaces. It's a really fast animal. It's very intelligent. Yeah, I don't think Hank 2.0 would do well against an animal like Vex
Yeah.
in the water. In shallow water, though, I think things may
Oh
look a
yeah,
little
100%
different.
Hank. Like,
Like a river. Yeah.
yeah, one thing I've mentioned with Vex is like I kind of had a clip of it. She can for like how like, fish that are migrating, they can go over like solid land if there's enough water on it and they can like it very slowly get through it and get to the next body of water. She can do something like that and like for brief moments kind of
Mhm.
shimmy onto a shoreline and then shimmy back into water. But she can't like live on land. She can't walk around. The stuff on the ground would damage her fins. Because they're still relatively durable, but given they're translucent, meaning the skin and muscle, well, not muscle, but there's no muscle in the very end, but the cartilage isn't as strong. Her fins would pretty easily get torn up by rocks or gravel or like a log that's in the ground. So yeah, it really depends on the environment. But if it's in the open
Oh,
ocean, Vex just I think would pretty easily dominate there.
how heavy is Vex? Do we
She's
have a
relatively
metric for
lightweight
that?
for her
I'm just
size.
curious.
She's around 3 to 4 tons. She's
3 to 4 tons. Oh, okay.
yeah built relatively light to allow her to keep pretty good speed and agility. Ooh,
Yeah,
one
for sure. Uh huh.
one thing I definitely wanted to bring up that I've been meaning to. I was thinking about making it into a video, but I don't know. I think it'd be funny. Um, is big mistakes that people always make with hybrids. Like some I always talk about. Firstly, axolotl DNA for regen. Firstly, regen in a hybrid, like if you're fighting something, is kind of useless because you're not gonna have Monsterverse Ghidorah level or like Shinamura level regeneration where you're just gonna like just boom bang on site regen ahead. It takes time, especially
Yeah.
at a large scale of a like sauropod or a theropod. That's gonna take months and months, if not years, to like regen a foot or something. Also,
Yeah. Yeah.
axolotls,
Definitely.
when stressed out and have like hormones all over the place, will metamorphosize into something super similar to a salamander. So if you have a fish that no matter even Vex went into a fight that she'll easily win, she will still be stressed. Any animal getting into a fight will have slight stress. Um, if you put
Mhm.
axolotl and try and have the effect of regrowing limbs, you can't really have that without the metamorphing. What's the word? I'm trying to get the word here. Yeah, that. Um, you can't really have that and not have the other. So once you get into a fight, your animal's just gonna start to bug out and try and metamorphosize. Um, but others I've seen a lot of like electric
Mhm.
bites from electric eel, which I talked to Tarbtano about, would just
Mhm.
fry their brain. The electric eels shock at their tail end. That's where like the majority of their electrocyte cells are, to make sure they don't
Yeah.
shock themselves.
So about that, yeah, those were the two mostly misused animals in the hybrid war.
Mm.
Hold on. Actually, I can pull up some stats real quick.
Yeah, go for
Let
it.
me see. Hybrid war. I'm gonna look up how many of these. Let's see. F. All right, so we have a total of 132 people that used axolotl
Lovely.
in their
Yeah,
genome, and that's not counting the people that misspelled the word. So it could be
lovely.
more.
That's
So
great.
in terms of electric eel or any sort of like similar eel, 239 people used the electric eel. Now, of course, there weren't up 239 people in the Hall of Shame,
Hmm.
right? To be fair, some people did use it correctly, surprisingly,
Yeah.
right? But that's why they weren't in the Hall of Shame. Some people used it for defense. Some people used it for uh, biting, like you
Hmm.
said. And then in those cases, then yeah, you would fry your own brain,
Yeah.
because using electricity in such amounts and such voltage, putting that in the wrong spot would basically kill you. So
Yeah. Oh
that
man, there
was
was
the
one that I
and with
really, really liked. There's
mhm,
one water hybrid. I was like, oh, this is good. This one I'll have Vex fight. And then he used electric eel and hagfish. And I'm like, oh no. Oh no. You have put an insulator of slime around your body as defense, plus an electrified body. So that slime is going to hold in the majority of your shock and
mhm.
just cook yourself in the process. There, I've seen so many that like they're so good, and they add something. I'm just like, oh no, oh man.
Well, if done correctly, it might work,
Mm,
but and yeah, you have the matter of you insulating yourself in an area that could be electrified, and things may go south for you. So unless you're using it like really cleverly, it may work actually. It
yeah,
might be genius, but you have to do it right. Yeah. So that's why, you have like the electric eel, they don't shoot out superfluous
yeah,
amount of slime either. So that it might be for a reason.
yeah.
So yeah,
I,
it's actually kind of funny that a lot of people. I don't know. I feel like it started with just a few people sharing their hybrids on Reddit, and then everybody started jumping on like the electric eel train, and then you
yeah,
end up having 239 people that use the
yeah,
electric eel. So yeah,
yeah.
I find that kind of funny. But
I
I
think
mean,
of
it's a good try. I mean, I'm not no judgment to them. Like
yeah.
they tried,
I mean, I don't
so
blame them.
credit.
Like, I think people just kind of think, oh, put the top, predators together. But usually this ends up with like the simplest way that they just end up dying when they took, put like top, poisonous animals and electric eel and limpets that produce like glue and whatnot. It's like you're just gonna have an insane caloric demand. And unless you do, there's this one hybrid that somebody made called Hydractus that was just a giant like um what's the type of, not a squid, it was a jellyfish that's like 95 to 98% water. Yeah, that works because it has no
Yeah.
brain. I said it in the live stream, no brain, no organs, and probably no vital, stuff like that. So in that case, yeah, you can have a
Okay.
lot of poison. But one thing with the hagfish that I think a lot of people don't really use, I haven't asked to see anybody use it, that I think would be really smart, would be somehow incorporating squid ink and hagfish slime to make a like opaque hagfish slime, which would not only, if like you're trying to run away from something, could act as not only a barrier against echolocation, because I imagine the slime would somewhat affect that and your visibility, but also just sheer sight.
Mhm.
Somebody donated five. Really missed that. Out of all the positives and fun of the war, is there anything that's starting to tick you off or annoy you? For me, it's the people that are taking it way too
Oh, good
serious. What
question.
about you?
Uh, well, yeah, people were taking it way too serious, and I don't know. I There wasn't anything that made me go like, "Oh shit," like maybe the closest thing, and I think this was evident in the Hall of Shame. People kept using the mantis shrimp,
Yeah, yeah,
and it wasn't like me being angry or Jack being angry. It was just us like, dude, did these people not learn? Because somehow the mantis shrimp made it a total missy, and it's random.
yeah,
40 times in the hybrid board. So 40 people use mantis shrimp. So I mean, of course, we had to look through like 1,655 submissions,
mm,
and then we see things like mantis shrimp, and then I forgot what other animal it was that. Oh yeah, the tardigrade. Let me see.
heck yeah, go
Tardigrade. Yeah.
Hank,
Okay.
go Hank. That's how that works. Trust.
I'm seeing 15 people that I think they all ended up going in the Hall of Shame, honestly. But yeah, tardigrade. And I would have guessed that most people that used tardigrade and the mantis shrimp saw your video first, because I mean the
Mm,
video that you posted ended up getting a lot of views, and then my best guess is that everyone that participated in hybrid war saw that video. So I was like, I don't know, maybe I'm missing something, but that was the closest thing to it being any. And it wasn't annoying. Don't get me wrong. It was just
yeah,
like, oh man, I wish they would have. Listen, this was super avoidable, right? And it's a
yeah,
land battle. We said that from the very beginning. And we're like, well, this doesn't work up here, The mechanics don't
yeah.
math up. You know what I mean?
There's been a lot like
So
that with
that
the
was the
water ones.
closest thing to, yeah. Uh-huh.
Yeah,
So
there's like a lot of
that's it.
good hybrids, and then there's just like one thing they add. It's like, oh man, like I remember the first one Vex fought Poseidantis. Super cool hybrid, loved it. It's a giant whale with like huge quills and spikes on its underbelly with poison. Issue is producing poison around an entire whale's body. That the sheer firstly he had two different types, one of them being lionfish, one of them being puffer. Secondly, he said the pufferfish toxins will be excreted out of the quills on like the spikes on his underbelly. Their toxin comes from their flesh, not like spit or whatnot. And then the lionfish
Hmm.
also Vex should be pretty much immune to because she has barracuda DNA and they eat lionfish all the time. Um, but just the sheer scale of that whale, Vex could just swim around for like an hour and that thing would be run dry of energy. Green Torch in 5. The axolotl and elephant with lightsaber tusks. Frank and the Holocene was pretty cool. I think, yeah, everybody loved Frank. That one was awesome.
Yeah, it was really funny when we ran into Frank. I was like, oh man. But
Oh, Dangerville
I
just
mean,
commented.
um,
I'm gonna assume
what did
that's
they say?
again Jacob. He just said howdy, haha. Uh,
Oh, hey Jacob.
David donated 5. In a hypothetical world, uh, where would where would you put Honey Badger?
In a hypothetical hybrid, where would you put Honey Badger? I'm not quite sure what the context is. I'm guessing
Yeah,
like how would we use it?
yeah, I suppose. Hold on.
I mean, I guess it depends on what you want from the honey badger. I mean, if you want like certain immunity, then I would use honey badger, you know. But if you want like the overall shape or use it as a base, right?
Mhm.
Then or if you wanted to make like the ultimate, um, I don't know, like a rat predator, and probably go with honey badger. I don't know. It really just depends on what you want it for, really. So it's like asking me, hey, where would you put salmon in your hybrid? You know, like
I
I don't know.
think
It really just depends.
the best thing Honey Badger
But
has
I hope
going
that
for
answers the
it
question.
is the hairline. It's I don't know if you're looking at my stream. It's giving off very much Thrag's hairline from Invincible. I think that's the his
Oh yeah.
strongest feature.
Hmm.
100%. Do you watch Invincible?
Me?
Yeah.
No.
Ah, you're missing out.
There's a lot of things I don't watch. Unfortunately,
It's really good. You should give it a watch at
I'm
some
too
point.
busy.
But let's do some more hybrid questions, and then we'll move on to, I guess, Jurassic Worlds. Now I think that'd be a good transition. But let's see. Anything
All right, hold on, hold
else?
on. I do want to answer this one because this is
Go for it.
actually
Yeah,
a good
yeah, go for it.
question. I've been seeing this spam like 20 times. Okay, how do we come up with hybrid names? Um, so the names that we come up with are mostly in Latin, right? Because
Hmm.
that's how dinosaur names are usually named, right? And then we kind of just, for example, with the Indom 2.0, we have a name for it. We just haven't revealed it yet, but there's a couple attributes of the Indom that make it the 2.0, you know? So we use those attributes and then we kind of just found those words in Latin and kind of just formulated like this really cool name for it. Um, so if you watched our previous video, you'll know that the first M, I mean, the first letter is an M, and then the species name starts with an L. So we'll reveal that in due time. But yeah, that's usually how we did it with Mortalodon, also
Yeah.
Anthrophagus, so deadly toothed human eater per se. We took attributes from the animal and then you just come up with a name with it. So and it sounds pretty cool, I think. So that's how we come up with the names.
Yeah.
All right.
With Hank, it was just I've seen people like try and give Hank a scientific name. It's like no, it's just Hank. That's it. Somebody donated 5. How come no one makes a hybrid that can be strong enough to live alongside with Indom 2.0? Otherwise, I would try to kill. Yeah, everybody wants to go for the top ones.
Yeah, that's a good question. Everybody wants to kill it. Nobody wants to make it a friend or anything. It just
Yeah.
I don't know. I guess they saw the entire genocide of of the island. What's this? Isla Nublar. They took
Yeah.
it personal and they're like, no, we got to kill it.
Yeah.
But
I'm not
I
gonna
don't,
reveal too
I
much,
don't know.
but with Vex, I'm working on a I'm trying to think of the exact phrase. I don't know if it's an actual thing, but I wrote it down. Okay, let's see if I can pronounce this. Multilistic dual symbiotic system. It's
Oh, the mutualistic dual symbiosis. Yeah, yeah. Okay, so an animal that can coexist and almost like borderline be like super compatible, kind of like with what crows and wolves are.
yeah.
They're like hyper compatible and such. But yeah, yeah.
Yeah, we're working on two little it's four in total, two pairs of two. Um symbiotic, I'm not gonna say anything except outside of animal, that will work alongside with Vex, and prevent
Mhm.
some of her. I'll definitely DM it to you later. I'm super excited on working on it. But yeah, Vex, if she wasn't strong enough, and if she didn't have three siblings enough with her already, is gonna get buffed further. So everybody, I apologize. Let's see. Toby donated two. How is I'm not sure what that one is. It's one of your. I think it's one of yours. I'm not sure. Hold on. Let me DM it to you.
What is
Um,
there a fan
it
hybrid
might be his
that
hybrid.
stood
I think he's
out
probably
to
asking about his. Yeah. Uh,
Carnitas?
somebody else donated two. Oh, where'd he go? Hold on. Gosh, I need to get a new mouse. The sensor wheel on it is completely destroyed. Is there a fan hybrid that stood out to you? Uh, for me personally, all the ones that I usually pick to fight Vex, and Vlad and Hydractus that fought in the Bay of Bengal, those were ones I try and find ones that are really unique because a lot of them are just, you know, Dunkleosteus, Mosasaur, Megalodon, Blue Whale. Give me some other big fish, Joe. Just name some other big Liopleurodon,
Whale shark?
Whale Shark, like all the big names.
Oh,
I
yeah.
just slap them together. I try and find unique ones. So just
Leech.
yeah. What about you? Any fan ones
All
that
right,
stuck
let
out
me
to you?
see. Are you talking about like Hybivore
Hank. Yeah,
ones?
pretty much.
Are you talking about like the submissions or just like any
He didn't
that
really
are posted on
specify, so I
YouTube?
guess just like post on YouTube.
All right, so there is one that I saw that I happened to run into. There was this one dude who had the balls to fight the Indom 2.0 with a bird. I forgot what the bird's name
Yes,
was,
I was
but
watching it
that was
earlier.
a pretty good video.
I'm in his server. Yeah,
That was
that's
a pretty good video.
Let me. I joined a server just earlier. Yeah, he made a giant squid to fight Vex too. Yeah, I've seen that. That guy makes
Oh, he
awesome
did?
videos. Yeah. Let me
Okay, yeah, I just saw that one video, but I mean, the way he styled the video and like drew it up and everything, it was really good, really entertaining. I saw it from start to finish. It was pretty good. I didn't see that submitted into Hybrid Wars, so unfortunately, I can't put it in like honorable mentions or
hmm.
anything because it wasn't like submitted, unless it was submitted under another name. I
Yeah,
don't
this is the
know,
guy I had
but
up on stream.
okay, yeah. So let me see.
Where's there it is. Yeah, challenging and Dumb 2.0 with a bird. And then he
Yeah,
fought Vex with a giant squid octopus thing.
uh-huh. So yeah, I mean, I like the approach and everything. It was really good. I mean, me and Jack saw it. We were like, oh, okay, yeah, sure, this could possibly work under the perfect circumstance and
Mm.
stuff. But yeah, I don't remember seeing it in the submissions. I don't know. But anyways, to answer your other question, the Carnicus. Let me see. Let me see. I'm looking at the stats right here. Height 15 feet, height biped 20 feet, 60 feet, 65 feet long,
Oh boy.
and
Maddie, that's what the bird's name is apparently. Maddie.
yeah, yeah, I remember Maddie. That's what it was. All right, so I didn't grade this one, but I'm not gonna say whether or not it did make it to um, honorable mentions or anything. Let me see. But I can already see. I can already see why it's where it's at.
Hmm. That's
See,
good.
here's the thing with those questions. Like, I can't say it yet because those videos aren't out yet, and I don't want to spoil anything for anyone. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
So, I mean, what do I think about it? I will say about the design. The design is pretty cool. I like the design. Okay, it was really well drawn up.
Hmm.
So whoever drew this, good job. It's a really nice design. That's the most I can say though.
Yeah. All right. Well, I think we've covered quite a bit of hybrids. So I'm trying to think if there's anything.
Okay, so
I guess.
I can say this though. I'll tell you a little bit about how we graded these. So the system that we used, which is not perfect, but everybody submitted their hybrids on a Google Forms, and then
Mhm.
and that program will turn it into a huge Excel sheet, like a Google Sheet, right?
Mhm.
Which allows us to go through each one by one, and then we basically go one by one, and then we give them a grade, right?
Yeah.
So we developed this tier grading system. So if you get a D, you go straight to Hall of Shame, right? We look for things. We set it up in a way that the table goes like this. First, you see
Why is Goji
the
with
name of
it?
the animal, then you see the sizes, and then you see the like if the metrics add up, and then if we look at the image and we're like, oh, this is a theropod, and this theropod is like 50 tons, Hall of Shame, and then
Yeah.
we can like quickly sift through these and just weed out the really bad ones first. And then if it's like okay, like let's say okay, this one looks like it works, then we give it a certain grade. If we see one that is 100% like viable, like hey, this is awesome, we're gonna give this an A, right?
Yeah. I love seeing
So
all the disciples of Hank. That was I was watching. I'm like, who is
oh
this?
yeah,
Hank's son? Who are you? He has
oh
not
yeah,
had any kids.
yeah. So those went straight to a D rating. And then the ones that got rated with an A, like the ones that had good metrics, good genomes, they were congruent and everything. Then we went through those again and selected the honorable mentions, like, hey, which ones are good, right?
Yeah.
And then after that, we go again and then we give the really good ones, which ended up being 20 something, an S. And those
Yeah.
ones that were given an S were scrutinized heavily to be taken to the final 16, which we have already. And while we're here talking about this, and there's like a whole bunch of people listening, I do want to just put this out there. There are some animals in the honorable mentions that could beat the 2.0 in certain situations,
Mm.
but the ones in the top 16 represent the best out of certain builds, right?
Yeah.
And we do want to keep it like with a good variety. Like there could be a few flyers in there. There could be a sauropod, there could be a theropod, there could be a ceratopsian, an ankylosaur, a sloth, even maybe.
Guys, trust me,
We're
Goji is a
just trying to
man.
keep it like really. They're just different types of builds there, and it was like a better ones
Yeah.
out of each build. So that's what the final 16 may end up looking like,
Mm.
just so that there won't be any surprises. But at the end there might be a surprise there. So there's that.
All right. Really, the only other thing I can think of hybrid wise, I actually don't really got anything. All I gotta say is stay tuned for Hank and Dom shenanigans in the future. But I think I've covered pretty much everything that I have on my plate for hybrid stuff. Do you got anything else you want to bring up?
Real quick though,
Mm.
real quick. I am seeing a few. Sorry,
All good.
I gotta swallow this. All right. So there's a couple things I do want to clear the air with. So a lot of people have seen our latest in Dom 2.0 against Prometheus video, right?
Yeah.
And then at the very end, we released. We finally took him out of the basement after a long time.
Mm-hmm.
Uh, and full transparency, we have been working on this for a long time. Us in Dangerville, this whole thing was like, like, oh yeah, let's make kaiju. You guys make your kaiju, and then we make our own. They're not kaiju's. They're just monsters, right?
Yeah.
Um, and then we'll release them more or less at the same time. So they released theirs first, and then we're kind of just waiting for the right time for us to release ours, right? And then they picked on the Indom, and we're like, oh shoot, okay, I see where this is going. And then, I mean, there's no beef, no nothing really. Like we talk like almost every day on Discord, so it's all good.
Yeah.
Um,
Yeah.
uh huh.
I had to
Yeah.
really
So
clear
they
that up
they
when
released.
you made your video.
Uh huh. Yeah. So they released theirs, and then we're like, all right, fine, let's release ours. So ours is pretty much going to be the response to them, quote unquote, bullying the 2.0, because we all know that in the world of realism, even our kaiju won't even like stand against the 2.0 in realism.
Yeah.
Let me just put that out there. Yeah, because I mean, fiction is fiction, right? So some things, some abilities that Corey has just don't exist in real life. I mean, they're based on scientific principles.
Mm.
Spoiler alert. So everything that Corey has some sort of like scientific explanation. A few sci-fi tweaks here and there, but overall, we try to make it as most realistic as possible. I mean, of course, we can't help ourselves because we always try to keep it, grounded and everything. But again, it's a kaiju, and things are gonna look different in the fantasy world than they do in real life. So, if
Yeah.
anyone's wondering, Primitus and Corey, they're going to fight one day. But Danger World and Goji Center, I mean, we're all in good terms. Like, there's no beef,
Yeah.
no nothing. It's just
Yeah.
it's all planned out.
And to anybody that, because of the past couple streams, people have asked if I plan. How do I open this? Hold up. To anybody that has been asking if I will be doing one of those, no. That is, I know a lot about kaiju, but I'm not gonna make a kaiju hybrid. My only thing I have to say to stuff like that. Let me just pull one up. Uh, where is it? Hold up. To anybody who's been bringing up, if I'm gonna make a kaiju hybrid, I did long ago. That's what started all my Godzilla hybrid stuff. So, once the Primatus and Corey get to Ghidorah and Godzilla fusion levels, then I'll throw my hat in there. But for now, that is just them. So where's the interview one? There we are. All right. Jurassic World Rebirth. What are your thoughts?
I am cautiously optimistic. Those are just my personal thoughts.
Mhm.
I know the channel may come across as like, oh shit, the T-Rex is awesome and everything. I mean, really, that's just from the point of view of like, hey, look, this is something new. Here's the best we can to explain it,
Mm.
from a scientific standpoint. But I mean, I guess here in Goji Center, like, there may be a few mixed feelings. Some of them may be good, some of them may be bad. Me personally, I'm kind of on the fence on this one.
Mhm.
I'm not quite sure how they're going to make this work or how they're going to like make this make sense. And
Yeah.
sure we did the best we could to explain it, like, oh, this could be a mutation and everything. But like really, like in real life, which we know very well, Hollywood doesn't give two craps about.
Mhm.
Um, a mutated T-Rex wouldn't come out like that. It wouldn't be symmetrical like that. And I mean, I
Yeah.
don't know. It may be asymmetrical when you see it in the movie, but it just wouldn't look like that. So we'll see what happens. I think it is a little bit out there, um, but I don't know. I guess I just have to sit back, wait, and see how it's executed
Yeah.
in the movie. I don't have high hopes for it, to be honest with you. But again, that's just my personal opinion. Everybody should have their own opinion. That said, right?
Yeah.
If you like it, then good for you. If you hate it, then sit back there. I think you should still watch it and give it a chance, right?
Yeah.
And then you can go out there and give your reaction. And there's nothing wrong with that, right? And I mean, after all, we're all different people. We can have our own opinions. And just because someone says, "Oh, the D-Rex is cool," doesn't mean that person's dumb. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
That's just his or her opinion. That's it. So I think we should just leave it at that.
Yeah.
So
I'm personally pretty excited
should
for
they
it. I think
should have they
it's.
added? Yeah,
I think it's.
should have they added to it?
It's.
And I don't think they should have added it, but
It has
that
a sort of Godzilla 1998 vibe to it. Just like it's just so like, oh, that's a dino. Okay, sure. I think it's so dumb. It looks pretty funny. Um, One thing. Oh, I did miss earlier. Somebody donated 10. They said Corey versus Goji guy, as in Mike, as in Goji guy himself. himself. I will let you know. Goji guy's weight increases by the ton per each subscriber, so he's 238,000 metric tons, and is 500 meters tall. I'll let you pick who wins that. So, chat, that is what I think it was asking you.
Oh, me. So, okay, so now that you said that your kaiju increases exponentially in weight.
Yeah.
See, that's the reason why we probably won't have kaiju wars because
Yeah.
of stuff like that. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
You're gonna have people submit a kaiju that like, oh, my kaiju can stop
Time.
and alter the fabric of space and time.
Yeah.
You know, and it's like, well, then what the heck do you do with that? You know, like for there to be a kaiju war in the future, there has to be like set parameters, like weight limits, classes, like
Yeah.
like no more than X amount of tons. Your abilities have to be backed up by something, you know, just to keep it controlled. Because things can spiral way out of control whenever you take science and physics out of the equation, right?
Yeah.
So for us to do that, we do have to like sit down and be like, okay, how do we do this? I mean, is it a good idea? Of course it is. You know, ultimately it'll be heavy on the design factor as well, right? Because kaiju's what makes a kaiju cool, how it looks like, right?
Yeah.
And then what it does. So you kind of need to like sit down and set some guidelines there if there is going to ever be a competition. And it's really hard to, if you think about it and like sit down and be like, how can this go wrong? Then you're going to be sitting down there and thinking for a long time. So
Yeah.
maybe not.
Ooh, on the topic of mixing kaiju DNA together, I just want to ask you. I made a story about this a while ago, asking my fans. I want to hear what your thoughts are. If you could mix 3 Monsterverse kaiju titans together to make one hybridized one, what would you go for? Mine was Shinamura for regen, and also if he gets cut in half, you have 2 of them now. Female Muto for the EMP effect, so I can drain the radiation of your competitor. And weirdly enough, Spirit Tiger, because at a giant kaiju size, having gigantic antlers, his I don't know if you know, he has hypnotics pretty much. He can, like Hank, can make you hallucinate, and I think I think it's like euphoric was the definition. So a giant kaiju that if it gets cut in half survives, you have to pretty much take it down to a single cell to kill it, can get rid of your radiation amounts and make you trip. So what 3 would you fuse together?
I never really thought of this, but I don't know, dude. Probably Ghidorah, and then I would also mix Godzilla, and then I would also mix Shimo.
And those are the 3 heads.
Lovely.
Yeah.
Just a
So
giant
I would put
Godzilla Shimo body with 3 Ghidorah heads and their heads slapped on top. Heck yeah.
Yeah, I would put Godzilla in the middle. I would put Ghidorah on the right, and I would put Shimo on the left. Why? Because, and everybody says that Ghidorah's left head is the most dumb, but I would put Shimo there because then putting Ghidorah on the left side, you no longer have a dumb Ghidorah head. You have a pretty powerful left head now.
Yeah.
I would just alter that right there. Yeah.
What's hilarious is
super
that...
crazy radiated.
Oh, sorry. Continue.
In the middle, you have like super crazy radiation. On the right side, you have that gravity beam, and on the left, you have like kind of like all the elements, pretty much.
Yeah,
but like in the kaiju elements. Yeah.
Yeah, what's funny is the Ghidorah's left head being dumb thing has actually been around since Showa Ghidorah. And there is a scan, and when translated, it says his left head thinks backwards, which I think is a phenomenal way to describe each version of Kevin. I love it. Legacy of Monsters. What do you want to see in that? For me, I just want to see Gamersupps and like a Siren John Killer Chameleon. And I hope the story makes a little bit more sense now and references comics unlike season 1 did.
Wait, can you repeat that last part?
I just hope because I know in season 1 they just kind of like ignored, Aftershock and Awakening, which is kind of a bummer.
Oh, I hated that. Yeah.
Yeah, like it wouldn't even be that hard to do. Like they could have literally just like I know like there's the excuse like, oh, there's multiple nuclear bomb testings on Godzilla. I think it's explained. I think maybe the G14 novelization. I'm not quite sure. But it's like they could have literally just been like when they did the scene, just been like, oh, what's that in the air? Don't have to show anything. Just say like, what's that in the air? As a reference to Shinamura flying in and then getting blown up. So I just hope they actually, because I know we're getting. I don't know if you saw it, but we're not getting. Well, I think we might still be getting a season 2 to the Skull Island anime, but we're getting a comic series follow up. Um,
Mhm.
and I just hope we see stuff from Kingdom Kong and from the anime. Like I'd love to see like what the hawk is doing now. I love the giant hawk. I think it's a everybody says it's a hot take. It's my opinion. I like Kong and the giant hawk's symbiotic relationship more than Godzilla and Mothra's. Because I just think the giant bird's awesome. The killer chameleons, I really hope to see them in CG, and of course Camzots. I think that's like the biggest thing we absolutely need to see. I would love to see
Mhm.
Camzots in CG. That would be, mwah. Zid did an amazing job designing that kaiju. So, but
Mhm.
what are you hoping to see in that?
Well, I do hope to see some continuity for once.
Mhm.
Um, like you said, they did. I think they kind of screwed it up in the matter of not mentioning aftershock. I mean, aftershock to me, well, to everyone really. Everybody's like saying, "Oh, it's like soft canon now because Legacy of Monsters didn't mention the Mutos, or I mean, they might have, but like they didn't mention Muto Prime."
Yeah.
And I think Muto Prime was like essential in preparing Godzilla for the next big fight, right?
Yeah.
Um, so why did they skip it? I don't know. I think that's another big problem with the MonsterVerse. A lot of their like writers, they don't. I don't think they do their due diligence enough for them to kind of just get well versed with everything that goes on,
Yeah.
right? And it's only going to get more difficult here because now that we have like another movie coming out, I wonder if those people have kept up with anything, especially like
Yeah.
the novelization, the comics. They're all like three separate entities, and like we'd be lucky if there is some continuity there, So, what am I excited for? Honestly, dude, I just want to. I just want to see them get their shit together, dude. Like,
Yeah.
because Legacy of Monsters, yeah, sure, it was pretty cool. Like, I like the kaiju fight, and I like the facts to the time. Uh, when they showed things from back then and
Yeah.
everything. That I think that was really cool. Those were my favorite parts. They should continue doing that, but they should also like, hey, let's all sit down and let's tie all this together because it's getting really fragmented out there, and it's just gonna make the verse a lot more complicated, especially with like new people coming in
Mhm.
because there's new MonsterVerse fans like every year, every month, even.
Yeah.
And it's just making it real hard for them to keep up, right? So that's just what I want to see. I just want to see continuity. New
Yeah.
kaiju, new this, new that. Yeah, sure, whatever. Like I'd honestly rather them like just thread this together than to introduce something that's just going to make everything more out of control and just not make sense. That's
Yeah.
just my opinion. Somebody who likes this universe, it's like just do your research, man. You know what I mean? Like, just read like, these authors. They need to read these books. They need to sit their ass down. Like, it only takes like what a whole 5 days to get caught up with everything.
Yeah, they're kind of doing what
You know what I mean?
Marvel has done recently. They're making so many projects that because I know with Marvel originally before I think Phase 4, I'm pretty sure Kevin Feige like had to greenlight everything. That's why everything before Phase 4 was like a good coherent story. Now they're just everybody's doing everything, and there's so much coming out with the MonsterVerse. Legacy Monster Season 2, that Kong board game coming up recently. Survivor Instinct as of recent. The movie. What else
Yeah.
is there? I'm pretty sure there's a Kong anime possibly getting a season 2. There's a Kong anime actually getting a book. Um, there's so much stuff, and also the DC one on that too. Like, so that means even more of their focus is gonna be taken away and put over to the DC. Now, I'm very happy we're getting
Yeah.
this amount, but I do wish they would like. This is absolutely no zero disrespect towards like the directors, but like it kind of like always baffles me when like, oh, I've been a huge fan my entire life, and then like don't like reference the other stuff. It's just like I feel like it's just like you've I don't know.
They
Like at
say
least
that
like me
because they don't know what
personally.
else to say.
Hmm?
Uh huh.
Yeah, like
They
me.
say that because they don't know what else to say in front of the camera.
Yeah,
What the heck?
I mean everybody's been a Godzilla fan their whole life at this point. It's just like everybody has seen Godzilla.
Yeah.
He's been going on for 70 years now. So, because like I feel like
Uh
if
huh.
I imagine if it was you or me in charge of directing a film, like we would actually like read through heavily, find every little bit that we can try and go over. Um, so I really
Hmm.
hope Sputor, like because I know he said he's been a big kaiju fan his whole life. I hope he actually means that. And really, goes in depth on what's going on, because there's so many things that I just like wish they would like a little thing to reference, like Ford Brody. What's he up to? I'd love to see that, like, even if it's just like if it appears for a sec, just a cameo, just like walking past, like bumping into somebody at Monarch. Like, hey, look, here's him. Like, I feel like that would really add a lot of world building, just little stuff like that. If they made a show about Bryan Cranston's character, everybody wanted to see more of him. All those newspapers and stuff on his wall. What is all that? I'd love to see all of his stuff he has, like the kaiju he himself was able to find. Like, he like knew there's Monarch, a giant probably $billion company in this verse that took years to finally prove, hey, there's a kaiju. And then there's a dude who's just mourning his wife's passing, and within a couple years alone was able to find out, like, hey, this is something irregular. There's something going on. I'd love to see an explanation of like a character like Bryan Cranston's, or just go in depth on like like the Hollow Earth beam. There's just a giant hole in Hong Kong now to the center of the Earth. No one bats an eye. It's so, I don't know. There's like really random plot building throughout this, like Legacy of Monsters, for example. It's like, I don't really care that her son was into art. Wow, he made sculptures, good for him. And like, I really feel like it's kind of like the Ibra fight in Final Wars. They're putting a lot of time towards really random stuff when they could take that time and distribute it to more important things. So
yeah, definitely. There are plot lines that are a lot. The one you just mentioned with Bryan Cranston's character, like, dude, I can see a whole season about that.
Yeah,
Instead of like, I don't
that'd be
give two
amazing.
craps about this dude's art, and his dad not like spending time with him or whatever. Like, dude, no one gives a shit. Like, give me some Bryan Cranston, give me some Joe Brody. Like, talk about William Randa. Like,
Yes, dude.
keep talking about those people.
The really cool characters they set up. The really interesting ones.
Yeah.
I don't know if you go to G-Fest often, but it was 2 G-Fests ago. They played GBK in the Pickwick Theater. I could find the video. I'll send it to you later. But when when Bernie in GBK says, "It's from my Sarah. She passed away," the entire theater cheered when he's talking about like his wife dying, because no one cares. No one cares that Bernie's wife died. It's like, oh wow, okay. Like, and that's one of the funniest Godzilla community moments I've ever seen. G-Fest is awesome. Just the community just goes there, and my wife died, and the entire audience, yeah, just cheering. It's great.
Yeah, the community can be brutal, but I mean, I feel like it more shows the fact that it's just the people's disapproval at the big Hollywood studios just focus firing on very irrelevant shit.
Yeah.
And that's just our disapproval, and that's how they show it. That's just their way of expressing themselves, I think. So,
yeah,
well.
Oh no, like Bernie. The most interesting thing about Bernie, the Titan Truth podcast. That'd be interesting to see that stuff, because we see a little bit of it in Titan Hunters, not Titan Hunters. Oh, that's another thing I forgot. Yeah, that game too. But what was it called? What was the comic? The Hunted. That one. Good lord, that was a rough comic. And then also his notebook. Like, I feel like that could be like a cool thing. Like, Legendary, if you're listening, please do this. Make that a piece of merchandise you can buy. Bernie's book. And it just has just all the cool stuff he's built up. And like, maybe you could like hint towards the next big bad.
At least with that, they could get away with inconsistencies, because not everything that Bernie says is true.
Oh yeah.
You know what I mean? So they could just throw they can just throw anything they want in there, and then just have a ton of things to speculate about fandom. Who knows? It may be true, it may not be true. Shit, threw in Space Godzilla in there. You know what I mean? Like, he's the type of guy that brings that up. That would bring it up. Like, you can even make references to any Bernie's little notebook or whatever. Like, dude, the community would go wild over that.
Yeah, dude,
and
that would
and
sell
then
like crazy.
Legendary could the Legendary could then hand pick what they want depending on like what picks up more. You know what I mean?
Yeah,
like,
and then
I cannot believe that an entire I cannot believe that an entire freaking board of directors can't think of this shit over there at Legendary. Like, come on now, like all of the ideas. it goes through like one person and then everybody else. Like there are people sitting down right now and speak talking about the next Godzilla movie, and I bet you half of those ideas they're not as good as what some of the people in the community could come up with. You know what I'm saying? Like
Yeah.
I don't know what the heck they're doing. This is just me ranting. I don't think I've
Yeah.
ever ranted
No, I
before, but
fully
like
get it. Like
there it is.
they have so many interesting characters they could build on. And like my favorite what if I've made is what if Godzilla evolved in 2019 because I had the big bad being Amulok. We haven't seen him since Dominion, or I guess recently what was it, Declassified. It's like
Mhm.
that'd be so cool to see like another one of those that has to be a big bad, um, and like build up a cool thing they've been doing in the background. Because in my story, it's like Godzilla, he goes and kills kaiju, and Amulek, knowing damn well he can't fight him, he slowly just gathers all the bodies of the dead kaiju, buries them in Hong Kong, makes Godzilla come, thinking it's Mechagodzilla, fights him, gets injured, and while he's injured, Amulek then right there sucks up all the radiation and all those bones from underneath and turns into like, this super kaiju. Like there's so many cool little things you could do. But it's like, underground monkey with a giant monkey army. Yep, that's what we're doing. It's I don't know. I feel like if you got just 30 random Godzilla fans and told them to write a script, it would probably be more coherent and more enjoyable, at least to the community, than
I
some of this
actually
stuff.
I actually like the idea of bringing a bunch of apes and Scar King and all that good stuff. I just think that it was put in the wrong place. I think that was a movie about the great hybrid. I mean, not hybrid. Great Titan War that
Yes,
they keep alluding
the
to,
hybrid war.
but they
Yeah,
never freaking explain it. Like they just the more we learn about this Titan War, the more questions we have, right? Because before
yeah.
it used to be to where there were a bunch. Okay, this I'm talking like uh, post King of the Monsters
Mhm,
when we got Dagon, right? We
mhm.
finally learned that there was another Gojira out there, right?
Rest in
And
peace, the
then we're
goat.
like, oh shit, yeah. And then now we're like, oh shoot, Toho's saying that Legendary is just now making it up to where it's just only one Godzilla. What? Where's the continuity in that?
Yeah,
Like we went from having a the Gojiras against the Kongs. Now it was all the Kongs against one slow Halal wall or
here,
whatever.
yeah. Here's the weirdest
And
part.
then
In the same movie, they say it's Godzilla alone fought the army, but he also had his own army of other Titans. It's baffling. One thing I've
so
preached is just have a 10 episode series that's like 3 minutes and it's just CGI, no humans, and it's just going over stuff. Maybe like Methuselah fighting the female Mutu, like they come across each other and fight. Maybe just a simple the end of a battle of the Titan Scar King war, and have I think it'd be awesome to have a shot of Godzilla 2014 mimicking the end of King of the Monster shot, but have the other Titans around him. Yamato no Orochi, Baphomet, maybe like a
yeah,
younger Behemoth or something. Like there's so much stuff they could do and help explain and smooth out the lore with just like 3 minutes of footage or explanation. But it's like, uh, nah, we're good. We're good.
yeah, I don't know why they don't do that. It's just a lot of confusion that these last two movies made. And I'm not hating on the movie. In fact, I enjoyed them. Okay,
Oh yeah, no, they're
it's
so
just
fun. They
when
just
it
have a lot of
comes to
problems.
in terms of like the lore is just extremely fragmented at this point, and it's
Yeah.
only getting worse. So these next two show, like for example, like Monarch, and then Godzilla X Kong 3, like they have a chance to still fix this,
Hopefully,
but
yeah.
are they going to? I don't know. I
Doubt it.
wouldn't say so. So
Yeah.
just sit back, enjoy the ride, dude. Like whatever. I mean, what can we do? We're just damn YouTubers. Like, what
Let
are we
us
gonna
up
do? I mean, the
here.
best we can do is just, well, yeah, like just
Give us little
listen to the
cameos
fans
of the
at least.
Minecraft movie
That's just all I got to say.
and the other stuff. That'd be great. But I think one of my favorite things to come out of like GXK was when they had I can't think of the artist's name. He's a phenomenal artist. I think it starts with a B. Um they had an actual Godzilla fan, that being him, and he drew stuff on that little bridge that Godzilla destroyed in Rome. That was awesome. We got so much cool stuff. We got a Hedorah reference to Jaguar. We saw a knife head. Like bring more of the fans on, and like it just gives so much fan service to the actual fans. It I can't. I really want to think of his name. I can't think of it off the top of my head, but I just really think they need to bring in, um, just I don't even know. I mean, as silly as it is, asking the community, hey, What do you guys want to see? Like what Hiya Toys is doing. I don't know if you've been keeping up with them. They release like a picture of their
Mhm.
Kiryu Goji. It's like that is just your Millennium mold with new spikes that looked horrible, and they're immediately like, "Hey, we apologize. We're gonna fix it right now." And they fixed it, and now it looks like an amazing figure. If I feel like if Legendary could somehow like what they do at Comic Con, like where they usually like tease something, like tease it, get the reaction, and then change as you need to. Like if it's a whole bunch of negativity, don't just be like, yeah, it's whatever. We're gonna make money anyway. It's like no, listen to your fans because if you keep trying to just make it, less and less effort, and like not less effort, but like more and more not what the fans are like really looking for, then it's gonna be less and less supportive from like fans that are just like you just kind of get fed up with the Monsterverse. But again, I still really enjoy it. It's
Mhm.
just there's definitely a lot of issues that I feel like they could very easily fix. I mean, just
There's ways to do it,
yeah,
man. There's ways to do it. There's, for example, like if you ask a random kaiju fan, he's gonna tell you something completely different from the next kaiju fan,
Mhm.
and so on. Like I collect data for stuff like products that we make on Goji and whatever.
Yeah.
Like it's super easy. Just make a Google form. Pay like I don't know a few $1,000 to get it out there to like who knows how many hundreds of thousands of fans. Because let's not pretend like they don't have to do that, right? That's
Yeah.
like chump change for them, right? Just ask them like, hey, what are your thoughts on this? Did you like the last movie?
Yeah.
Get some good
What
amount of
aspects did you like? What
information, and
aspects did
then
you not
based,
like? Yeah,
yeah,
stuff like that.
exactly. Like what made which one of these kaiju's your favorite? Maybe even right. It may even help them because they like to sell toys to people and whatever. Like these are super easy things that you can do to make a better product, but they just don't do it. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
Like they just don't sit there and take the time. All those hours that they sit there talking about absolute dog shit that ends up being worthless in a movie. Like, why not just like make a survey, ask the people what they want, and then based on those collective results, let's say half of them want this, then you give them Rodan again. Because I can guarantee you, if you ask the base, hey, do you want to see Rodan again? Which I can almost promise you they probably won't have it in the
Yes,
next
I love
movie
the
for who
Gamersupps
knows what
victim.
reason. Yeah. So, well, then why not just bring it back? You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
Because you know very well that people are going to bring it back. Now, I understand that there are legalities to this and everything, but like, hey, you brought Mothra. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
Like, you can still do it, but you don't. You know what I mean? So there's just ways to do things. There's ways to like get better. But they just don't do it for
Yeah.
whatever reason. I'm not quite sure. Maybe I'm missing something, but are there are they going to make it better? I don't know. I don't have faith in that. Like that's just
Yeah.
me, unfortunately. But hey, the best we can do is just speak our thoughts and maybe to listen because they do listen.
Oh yeah.
They
Yeah.
do listen. Where do you think they got Doug from? Who the heck invented Doug? We did. Like the
Yeah.
community did. You know what I'm saying?
And I'm
So
not sure if it's true or
they
not with
picked
the
that up.
whole Suko being a baseball bat thing. I've heard some people say it was actually in the film. I've heard some people say it was a like supposed leak and Adam just went ahead and added it. Not sure if that's true, but still, yeah. Like, and those are some of the most memorable things
Yes.
now. Like you look at Doug, that's one of the fan favorite kaiju. Guess who was made by us?
Yeah.
Like you look at the Suko thing, one of the funniest moments in GXK, possibly
Uh-huh.
because of us. Like us as a community. Saying, "Oh, that'd be really fun if we saw that."
Yeah.
So
Yeah. So they should just listen to, they should just lend an ear a little bit more often because obviously Doug was successful. It picked up, right?
Mhm.
If they just do that with a lot more things, then we'd probably have a better franchise at this point.
Yeah. I mean, it's impressive it's still around though. 10 years. It's I think box office wise doing better as of recent than Marvel is kind of because a lot of the Marvel films have kind of been dookie recently. But
Hmm.
I really hope they listen to their fans, or else they'll start to just kind of just fall off. Also, every time they really, really, really need to separate Godzilla and Kong, give them their own films. Because if every film is going to be them going up against a cataclysmic threat, a world-ending threat, we've heard that twice now. Actually, 3 times. We heard that for Godzilla, King of the Monsters. Well, not just him. We heard that for Godzilla versus Kong. We heard it for Godzilla X Kong. And now there's rumors that there's going to be, guess what? A 4th one in GXK3. Lovely. We can't wait. So it's like they need to bring them back
Yeah.
apart. They really, really do.
It's getting a little old at this point. Like maybe they want to just keep this trilogy as like them three to me those two together and everything, but I think they should. I to your point, yeah. If they do have another trilogy like after this one, yeah, 100%. They should just. I feel like Godzilla should just solo it and then just have Kong have like cameos, like very little cameo, like oh let's see what's going on in Hollow Earth or something, you know. But Godzilla should just take the take the masthead here and just you know it should be about Godzilla again. I think.
I think it'd be great if we had like a Kong film that's like Skull Island, but just takes place in the Hollow Earth. Maybe take one of your random, kaiju you have. All right. And just have them fight that in the Hollow Earth, and have Godzilla fight someone on the surface. But yeah. All right. Well, everybody, we've been live for about an hour. We'll let anybody get any final dono questions in. And we'll just sit here and wait. But yeah, I'm still excited for the
I'm gonna
new
look
regardless.
at oh yeah, for sure. Like I can't wait. But I mean, good thing we have a lot of dinosaur stuff coming up.
Oh yeah.
We have Jurassic World. We have the other dinosaur movie. What's it called? Primal.
Yeah, I've probably asked me that. I haven't even heard of that until the film came out, the trailer came out. So, yeah, I got some what if stuff planned. If we get another.
Oh, okay. Hold on. I see it. Okay, so I do want to say this. Everybody's asking about honorable mentions. Okay, so honorable mentions. We actually said that they were like around 60 to 70 ish. I think that's the number it was. We actually gave the opportunity for a few others to squeeze in the honorable mentions. So, video may come out Saturday night, the latest, hopefully. Or if we actually, because we have people working on it right now as we speak. In fact, I'm gonna go back in there and see if I can help out so we can get it out sooner. But yeah, it should be out this by latest Saturday night. And then the top 16, that one we're actually having our 2D artist make artwork for each of the 16 finalists. So may not be there for like 2 weeks. But I will say this: after the honorable mentions, we are going to release a chart that shows the builds of the final 16, in case some of y'all were wondering. And then maybe y'all can guess or
like silhouettes.
Imagine if your hybrid made it to the finals. Yeah, not silhouettes, but more like, for example, like 3 theropods, 4 sauropods, 2 birds, 1 sloth, 1 feline, 1 ape, maybe. I don't know. Something like that. Just so that people can get hyped up for the final 16.
Yeah. Probably the 5. Normally we'd answer, but I don't think Goosender's just gonna, he, as he said earlier, he's not gonna spoil who's up and who's not. You'll have to wait and see.
Wait, I'm guessing my Goliath didn't make it to the honorable mention. I do remember seeing a Goliath, actually. I'm gonna look it up real quick, just for.
Yeah.
Oh yeah. Well, okay. Yeah, I know what grade this one got.
I was gonna say while you were looking that up. Yeah, there will be more, of course, Goji Center making their hybrid stuff. There will be probably one more hybrid I make. I might make another one kind of similar to, Samson, like a really big tank of a hybrid. But there's definitely one I'm definitely going to be making to help out Vex some in certain aspects, as you guys will see, a symbiotic style thing. If you guys would like, I'd be super down to, I don't know, like, could Hank survive the gorge or something? I don't know. Stuff like that. There is a super fun Vex video planned. Can't say. Goji Center knows what it is. Wink, wink. Nudge, nudge. But yeah, so there's quite a bit of stuff. Got the 2. Will there be other fan submissions in the future?
Yeah, there will be.
Yeah.
In the future, not like immediately after, because I mean, doing this is really difficult. I mean, you're going through 1600 hybrids, no easy thing, right? But yeah, we really tried the best we could to give every hybrid the attention it deserved, right? We're not going to just dismiss a hybrid like, this one sucks, like in like 2 seconds.
Yeah,
we did look through it, and if you made it to this if you made it to honorable mentions, dude, even the Hall of Shame is like, hey, you got mentioned. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
But yeah, we really didn't want to miss out on any good hybrids. That's why it's taking up a long time.
Yeah. But yeah, I think that is pretty much every. I don't really have. I'm looking at my room as if that's gonna help me. I think that's pretty much everything I wanted to cover. Yeah. So yeah, I hope you guys enjoyed. I don't really have anything else to say. If there's anything you want to bring up before you head out.
Somebody said I thought the Goji Center icon was supposed to be a Godzilla, not a dragon. Okay. So just to address that, for those that don't know, Corey was made like 3 years ago. In fact, at the same time that our logo, well, the logo was made after Corey, right? And since that was supposed to be like our creature, we're like, okay, this animal basically a combination of a dinosaur, a kaiju, and like a monster, which is what we cover, right? Like that's what Goji Center covers. It's not just Godzilla. It's not just dinosaur. It's all three of those things, right? So it's there to represent those things. So if anybody's thinking that it's a Godzilla, well, no, it's not. Sorry to, ruin it for you, but it's really representing, and that's how it's everything that we talk. If anything, I think it represents us better that way.
Yeah.
But I mean, everybody can have their own opinion. It's fine. I'm not going to insult anybody.
And
I think that's
as a
whatever.
heads up,
Like,
if
you
you
can have
guys
your
are
opinion. That's
saying
fine.
that, don't take what's here on screen as a one-to-one representation of it. This is just what my artist was able to cook up, given the material we had. This is not a one-to-one recreation of it. This is just gives you a rough idea. So
Yeah.
But yeah, all right, cool. That was awesome. Well, thank you, Joe, for stopping by.
All right, man.
I will let you go. Any final words? No dick, no balls.
Well, just look out for the honorable mentions, and thank you for having me. Thank you, everybody, for the good questions, and I had a good time today.
All right. See you, man. You have a good one.
All right, man. Peace.
All right. That was Joe from Goji Center. Everybody. So I hope you guys enjoyed. If you guys have any questions for me, I'll stick around for we can do like 7 minutes and then I'm gonna head out. But yeah, you guys have a good time. I first want to thank everybody that donated. Really appreciate it. But yeah. Him is Joe, the guy who runs Goji Center, yes, but he is one of many on the Goji Center team. What if Thrag was in the Monsterverse? His hairline would just demolish everybody there. So, is Vex symbiotic animal based on my fish comment from yesterday? I've had so many fish comments. I'm not quite sure. It could be a possibility. And Goji Center being cryptic, saying 9. Yeah. Yeah. We need a vid on the horrifying Sharptooth. I've been planning to do that eventually. I would definitely plan maybe like him versus like could he, take on Isla Nublar, stuff like that. I've definitely that's been on my mind for a while. So I got you. I will definitely, I can promise you that will happen someday. Let me, I gotta. So is there going to be a Vex Hybrid War? There already is, brother. People have been challenging nonstop. Oh, gentlemen, if you guys haven't made one for the Baltic Sea, please. There's actually been only like a couple that really stand out for the Baltic Sea. So yeah, Vex in the Baltic Sea. All I'd say as advice is take the predators from the Baltic Sea that thrive in that area and challenge her with those. Making region-specific ones is really good. I get it, making stuff that's super adaptable like her is a fun idea, but you're challenging her in certain areas. You can't just like take, your alligator from the Congo and put it into Arctic waters. It's just not going to work out too well. So, fun game still Vex grows legs? Yes, it is. So, how do you determine the size of your hybrid? Just kind of go with what you think would make sense. You know, the really biggest issue is weight. Don't make your thing really, really, really big. So. So both the channels appreciate it, man. Do a video about the Doomslayer. He's kind of out of my reach, and also the really only way to really appreciate his strength would be power scaling. And as I've said many times, power scaling sucks. So covering his feats in a battle analysis style way would be close to impossible. Invincible alone was really, really hard to do. So. Feel about Godzilla fandom in general. It's cool. I think the pros heavily outweigh the cons. The cons are sadly, you know, the cry part of the community is definitely the loudest part. They are who people are always, you know, having to deal with. But dude, the good parts just outweigh it all the time. Any Subnautica, Leviathan, other creatures? I don't really know much about Subnautica at all, so not much. Oh, the Vex thing continue? I mean, after the Baltic Sea, she's probably not going to fight too much more, just because it's difficult to write these, you know, short life scripts all the time. But she'll be around though. You guys still absolutely make a, you know, hybrid to challenge her. So, and she'll still definitely be a talking point of the channel. So, do you have school? No, sir. I graduated. Ever interview Steve? I mean, maybe someday we can get Joe and Steve, and that'll be fun. So, all right, 3 more minutes, and then I'm gonna skedaddle. So, ask away. Make a Scorpio Strike 2.0? Probably not. No. How many beers you need to kill Godzilla? I'm not quite sure what his alcohol to blood ratio would be. Given his blood's also radioactive, I'm not sure how that would affect alcohol. Maybe I don't know if it would be possible for him to get drunk, unless he drank his entire body weight and like really, really, really quickly. Because if he like is sipping them one by one, there's not gonna be enough to make him drunk. The radiation's gonna get rid of it. You, maybe I don't know. You guys want me to interview the entire team of Goji Center? Here, I'll get my entire team and then Goji Center's entire team, and we'll see how absolutely uncoordinated that stream would be. That'd be hilarious. So be great. But like everybody just talk at once. Everybody just talk, and that'll be great. Whole team for whole team. I love the difference between his team and my team. His team, like researchers, animators, 2D animators, more researchers, artists, probably music people, voice actors, and there's me. All right, editor, me, scriptwriter, me, audio editor, me, couple artists, 3D animator, Slick. He's on my team. He's on my team. That's about it. So, but yeah, everybody, this has been a super duper duper fun stream. I really hope you all enjoyed. Hope you got some fun little info out of us. And yeah. So you all know the saying. As always, keep collecting. Goji guy out. See you guys. Think of something. Bye.